Radhe Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Sri Radha Madhava ki jai, Sri Radha Giridhari ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Jai Jashodhara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Jai Jashodhara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samveda Bhakti Nigaya, Go Premanandi, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories, C.C. Guru and Siddhi Gauranga. Shivadai Krishna Staya Padle, Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Gauravani Padacharini Nivashe Shrunyavari Vasya Jadi Shatarini. Hare Krishna. Saṅkarṣaṇa, were you applying the salve of love of God to your eyes during Bhagavatam class? Maybe you can share some after class. So, if all goes well, looks like we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, the Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction, Chapter 1. Let's see if I got this right today. Okay. Hey, it's a verse about you today, Saṅkarṣaṇa. So you should be wide awake to today's class. Talking about you. Sort of.
Can't get enough of it.
Can't get enough of it. Yeah, that's our problem. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudeva Kalanantaha Sahasra Vadanaha Swarat Agrato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikishaya Vasudeva Kalananta Sahasra Vadana Swarat Agrato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikirshaya Vasudeva Kalananta Sahasra Vadana Swarat Agrato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikirshaya Vasudeva Kalananta Sahasra Vadana Swarat Agrato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikirshaya. I'd like to chant. Hare Priya Chikirshaya.
Vasudeva Kalananta.
Vasudeva Kalananta.
Agrato Bhavita Devo. Hare Priya Chikirshaya.
Brahmacharis. Okay, now the floor is open. Sahasra Vadana Swarat Agrato Bhavito Devo Hare Priya Chikirshaya Vasudeva Kalananda Sahasra Vadana Swarat Agrato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikirshaya Vasudeva Kalananda Sahasra Vadana Swarat Ajagrato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikirshaya. Mani, would you like to chant? Are you a mantra man? Anyone else? Online.
Vasudeva Kalananta
Vasudeva Kalananda
Sahasravadana Swarat
Sahasravadana Swarat
Agrato Bhavita Devo
Agrado Bhavito Devo
Hare Priya Chikirshaya.
Hare Priya Chikirshaya. Mataji, your name?
Haribo, Vanessa.
Vanessa, okay, because I don't call you Mrs. Online.
Miss
So I just so I can say, Vanessa, would you like to chant instead of Miss Online? Would you like to chant? What a funny
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Vanessa.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Anyone else? Anyone from the Encinitas temple like to chant? No? Oh, yeah. Okay, so word for word. Vasudeva Kala Ananta. The plenary expansion of Lord Krishna, known as Ananta Dev, or Saṅkarṣaṇa Ananta, the all-pervasive incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Sahasra Badana, having thousands of hoods. Swarat, fully independent. Agrata, previously. Bhavita, will appear. Devaha, the Lord. Hare, of Lord Krishna. Priya Chikirshaya, with the desire to act for the pleasure. Translation: the foremost manifestation of Krishna is Saṅkarṣaṇa, who is known as Ananta. He is the origin of all incarnations within this material world. Previous to the appearance of Lord Krishna, this original Saṅkarṣaṇa will appear as Baladeva, just to please the Supreme Lord Krishna in his transcendental pastimes. Purport: Sri Baladeva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He is equal in supremacy to the Supreme Godhead, yet wherever Krishna appears, Sri Baladeva appears in as his brother, sometimes elder and sometimes younger. When Krishna appears, all his plenary expansions and other incarnations appear with him. This is elaborately explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. This time, Baladeva would appear before Krishna as Krishna's elder brother. Om Agyanti Marandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksulunminitam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Dena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadatsi Swapadandikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vanchikapatarubhasya kripa sindhu bevacha patidanam bhavani bho vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. All glories to the assembled devotees. By your ardent prayers and good wishes, I'll try to say a few words. Translation again. The foremost manifestation of Krishna is Saṅkarṣaṇa, who is known as Ananta. He is the origin of all incarnations within this material world. Previous to the appearance of Lord Krishna, this original Saṅkarṣaṇa will appear as Baladeva, just to please the Supreme Lord Krishna in his transcendental pastimes. So this scene is being set. Shukadeva Goswami is explaining in detail what's happening. Because Krishna is never alone. Krishna is never alone. Krishna is always surrounded by his devotees. Prabhupada sometimes say, you never see a picture of Krishna alone. He's never alone. He's always with his devotees. The reason being is that everything exists for the pleasure of the Lord. So Krishna is always surrounding himself, just like... Well, actually, young or old, people have their toys. In fact, there's that bumper sticker, whoever dies with the most toys has a successful life or something like that, right? So when we're little, we have little toys that are too expensive. And then when you get older, people, you start seeing they got big toys, right? All kinds of cars and boats and this, that, and the other thing. And they surround themselves with those toys for enjoyment. Now, we surround ourselves with things and people for our enjoyment. Just Radhanath Maharaj was listening to a lecture yesterday. He was saying in a very advanced culture, people love people and use things. In a very degraded culture, people love things and use people. You got that? Did you get that one? All right. Advanced culture, you love people and you just use things. But in a degraded culture, you love things and you use people. Like that. So we all surround ourselves with people and things for our Ananda, for our enjoyment, right? Whatever we have. The basic, the basic consciousness in the material world is aham mameti. Have you come across that one yet? In your studies, aham mameti, 5th canto? How about you? Aham, what does aham mean? It's not like, it's not like a song. Aham, I, and mameti, mine. Okay, it is sign language day, huh? Okay, yes, yeah, he's doing sign language to me. Okay, give me the silent treatment. Okay, yes, I and mine. That's the basic principle of material existence, I and mine. I'm this body, and these things surrounding me are mine for me to enjoy. Well, you know where that comes from? Originally? Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everything is His. And it's for His enjoyment. We in the material world means we forget that principle, the principle of reality, and we start thinking, I'm this body, I'm the center of everything, and everything's for my enjoyment, and we surround ourselves with that. But actually, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everything is for His enjoyment, material and spiritual world. Now, what's being described here is the avatar. Actually, the avatari is coming. It's rare. It's very, very rare. You know the difference between avatar and avatari in Sanskrit? You look like a scholar back there, Govardhan. Do you know? Avatar? What's an avatar? Okay, an avatari? Yes, the source of all avatars. So Krishna is avatari. He's not just an avatar, if you want to use that expression. It's not an easy thing to be an avatar. Has anyone here tried to be one? Like that? There's a lot in India. They're working real hard on it. Prabhupada said in one lecture, they're coming daily to America. These gods are, I am God, you're God. So they're coming daily. So it's like, wow, how to filter through all these people. So, but Krishna, once in a day of Brahma, he comes personally himself, the avatari. So it's very, very special. And Sukadeva Goswami is explaining in detail what's going to be happening. And Krishna himself is just described, he's coming in the verse yesterday. And he asked also the demigods and demigoddesses to come. And in that purport, that's where Prabhupada explains when we leave this life, if we're perfect, we don't go directly back home to Godhead. We go to the universe where Krishna is appearing. And he gave the example that Krishna asked these different demigods and demigoddesses who were like that to go join the pastimes, become completely purified, and then go back home back to Godhead. So there are some of those in that category. But Krishna himself is coming, and then now it goes down the list. So the very first expansion of Krishna is Baladeva, Balaram, and his plenary, which means on the same plane. So that's why in the purport, Prabhupada says, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now we'll read a little bit. I'm going to read a little about Lord Balaram, some selections taken in this book on appreciating Vrindavan, quotes from different Prabhupada's books and so on, different scriptures about Lord Balaram, that he's coming. And very, very, of course, Baladev, Bala means what? Strength. So he's a source of spiritual strength. And Prabhupada sometimes in one lecture he said that some people think it's material strength, you know. But actually it's spiritual strength. He's a source of spiritual strength, very, very powerful personality on so many different levels. In fact, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that all the incarnations in this material world come through Balaram, Baladev. And there's really no difference between Krishna and Balaram, Prabhupada said, except for the color. Like that. And the color of their dhotis. And we owe it to Dravida a great thanks in many different ways for his editing. Because when I joined the movement, I could never figure out that part in Krishna book where it said Mother Yasoda dressed Balaram in yellow and Krishna in blue. And I was thinking, well, they're just kind of changing it up for the day or something, right? It was a typo, and it got switched. So they have different colors, clothes. Balaram's kind of whitish, and Krishna's a darkish color. But more or less the same. And this is a understanding that Krishna expands himself. We can't do that. I mean, there's a reference that there are yogis who can expand themselves, up to 9 times? 8 times? But it's all the same. In other words, every time they eat a pakora, all of them are eating pakora at the same time. Right? Or they're bathing in a river. They're not doing different things, but it's like, whoa. So that's a yogic perfection if you want to take the time to learn it. But Krishna expands himself unlimitedly, and those expansions are expansions of himself. And now, Prabhupada, I didn't pull it up here. There's a section there where Sanatana Goswami is being instructed by Lord Chaitanya about all this tattva, all these different kinds of expansions, this vilas, that prakash, so many different things. The Chaturbhyuha, Vasudeva, Saṅkarṣaṇa, Padumna, and Aniruddha, they're coming in multiple forms from Lord Balaram. And ultimately you get to Mahavishnu. There's a picture here, a painting. The Mahavishnu, all the different universes are coming from his breathing. And each one of those universes, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, that's all coming from Balaram. So he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he comes to serve Krishna. He comes to serve Krishna. And he takes the role of Krishna's brother, sometimes younger and sometimes older. What's one incarnation you can think of where he comes as a younger brother? Rama Anuja. Yeah, Lakshman is a younger brother. And it is said there in the Ramayana that he was upset having to be the younger brother because Lord Ram asked him to do some things which are very, very, very difficult in regards to Mother Sita. So he said to himself, I'm not coming as a younger brother anymore. I'm coming as the older. That way he can't tell me what to do. So that's Balaram is the older brother, and Nityananda is the older brother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he got upset that he had to, in that incarnation, Ram's going to tell him to do things he doesn't want to do. And this is very interesting how they're the same person, but they're different persons. They disagree on things. So many things are, it's very quite interesting. Before I start reading, though, I'd like to bring up one point that I was listening to a lecture years ago. Burijan Prabhu was talking about Lord Balaram. Actually, I think he was talking about just problems in devotional service. Does anyone have any problems in their devotional service?
No, not at all.
Okay, he's got a problem with lying. Okay. Fibbing. We all have problems. We all have, because we're trying to get better. It's like a hospital. Are there any healthy people in the hospital? As far as patients, usually not. That's why they're there. So we have challenges. We have impurities in our heart, and we're trying to overcome them. The obstacles between us and a full recovery of pure devotional service. So, and you can pray to Krishna for help to remove particular obstacles, and Krishna will do that. But Lord Balaram, what he helps with is he doesn't remove the obstacles, he gives us the ability to remove the obstacles, because there's certain things we got to do ourselves. Unfortunately, in the lecture, you didn't go into giving examples that I remember of which one and like that. But I think we can, if you will, dirty things in the heart. You can start with the 3 big ones. What are the 3 big ones? Krishna lists in the Bhagavad Gita. They're actually compared to doorways. Does anyone know? Lust, anger, and greed. Very good. You've come to the front of the class. Do you know how to say those in Sanskrit? Yes, yes. So you think about it. Kam, the material to enjoy, the desire to enjoy this material world. Krodh, anger. Lobh, greed. These are these are things which have a stronghold on us And it's very, very difficult. So we're praying to Lord Balaram, please help me with this lust, anger, and greed, because I'm being harassed. In fact, there's a Raghunath Das Goswami, one of his prayers, I think Manashiksha compares him to like highwaymen, like that, or having a noose around our neck. So he prayed to Lord Balaram. He was saying, because he was talking about his disciple, getting a letter or a question from a disciple, what to do when you feel harassed by material desires or impediments in Krishna consciousness. He said, you pray very, very fervently to Lord Balaram, and you'll notice that he gives you the ability to overcome them. That's his kindness, to help us overcome we have to do it ourselves, though. But he'll give us the ability to do it. And there's certain things, apparently, that Krishna will just take care of it for you. Like that. So he'll just take care of it for you. But Balaram, so we pray to Lord Balaram for spiritual strength. So that's one thing to meditate on. So let me jump right in here. And some of these are elaborations of things we've discussed from the purport already. But let me see. Some nectar here. Here we go, 110. Maybe I marked it. Okay. Well, do you want to hear how beautiful Lord Balaram is? Yep. Okay. Shri Balaram, a beautiful brother. Powerful Lord Balaram is 16 years old, full of the luster of youth, and has a fair complexion, the color of crystal. Balaram wears blue garments and a garland of forest flowers. Baladev's handsome hair is tied in a graceful top knot. Splendid earrings adorn Balaram's ears. Shri Balaram's neck is splendidly decorated with garlands of flowers and strings of pearls. Splendid bracelets and armlets ornament Dauji's graceful and very strong arms. Balaram's feet are decorated with splendid jeweled anklets. Shri Balaram is Krishna's dearest friend. Baladeva is a great reservoir of the nectar mellows of many kinds of transcendental pastimes. Lord Balaram's beauty is enhanced by the earrings touching his cheeks. Balaram's face is decorated with tilak made from musk, and Balaram's broad chest is ornamented with a garland of gunja, small red, black, and white berries native to Vrindavan. Sri Baladev's complexion is as white as an autumn cloud, and he wears blue garments. Balaram's voice is very grave, and his arms are very, very long, touching his thighs. That's from the Nectar Devotion. So I mentioned earlier about, and is mentioned here, he comes for the Priya Chikirshaya, for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, as a servant. So Sri Baladeva is a servitor, Godhead who serves Lord Krishna in all affairs of existence and knowledge. The transcendental abode exists by the energy of Lord Balaram. Krishna's first expansion in a form for pastimes is Balaram. Balaram himself helps in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. He does the work of creation in 4 other forms. We mentioned that earlier about the Vishnu forms. In all forms, Balaram tastes the transcendental bliss of serving Krishna. So Balaram's happiness is he's serving his brother. If we develop consciousness of this fact, then we are in actual Krishna consciousness. We should always remember that Krishna is the only Supreme Master and everyone else is his servant. In the transcendental pastimes, Krishna is the chief hero and Balaram provides additional help. Is there a name for that in plays and movies? You got the hero and then you got the one who's right, like this, not sidekick, but the second one. Okay, now this is a very important point here, this next verse, about the forms Balaram takes to serve Krishna, because it's something we can relate to on a day-to-day basis. Lord Balaram is constantly serving Lord Krishna in every respect. In all of Krishna's incarnations and pastimes, Lord Balaram is always present, serving Krishna in different forms and manifestations. In Ram Leela, Balaram serves Lord Ramachandra as his younger brother Lakshman. In Kali Yuga, Sri Balaram spreads the Sankirtan movement of Chi Chaitanya as Lord Nityananda. Lord Balaram serves Sri Krishna in all 5 rasas, from Shanta to Madhurya rasa. And Shantarasa, so here it's explaining. So how does he do that? All 5 rasas? In Shantarasa, Lord Balaram fulfills Sri Krishna's desires for blissful transcendental pastimes by expanding himself as the holy Dham of Braj Mandala. All of Krishna's personal possessions, such as Krishna's crown, you can look at the deities now if you like while I'm reading this, his bed, his clothes, his throne, ornaments, and any other object that Krishna utilizes are all expansions of Lord Balaram. So the pujaris have to be very, very careful. Not throw around Lord Balaram like that. Take the ticky-tack off Lord Balaram at night when you put all the jewels away and so on. As Krishna's cowherd friend and elder brother in Sakya Rasa, Sri Balaram sometimes accepts a service from Krishna after defeating him in a wrestling match, but generally Balaram's fraternal feelings are mixed with servitude, Dasya Rasa, and parental affection, Vatsalya Rasa. In the mood of Vatsalya Rasa, Sri Balaram sometimes protects Krishna as a parent or chastises him as his elder brother. That would be a scene, isn't it? Balaram chastising Krishna. I told you to. Once Balaram told Subal, "My dear friend, please inform Krishna not to go to Kaliya Lake today. Today is Krishna's birthday, and so I wish to go along with Mother Yashoda to bathe him. Tell Krishna he should not leave the house today." This shows how Balaram, Krishna's elder brother, took care of Krishna with parental love within the scope of fraternal affection. Now, did Krishna listen to that? That was the one day Balaram wasn't there, right? The Kaliya pastime. The splendor of Lord Balaram's transcendental form eclipses many millions of glistening, shining moons, and the slightest scent of his boundless strength is sufficient to destroy many armies of demons. Although he knows the supernatural power of his younger brother Krishna, still out of love, Balaram never leaves Krishna alone in the forest, even for a moment. I offer my prayers to Lord Balaram, the enemy of Dinakasura. Lord Balaram can expand himself into unlimited and different forms in order to serve Sri Krishna's intimate conjugal pastimes in Madhurya Rasa. Lord Balaram expands himself as Ananga Manjari. Ananga Manjari wears beautiful clothing, the color of a blue lotus flower, and she's especially dear to Lalita and Vishaka. So Ananga Manjari is an expansion of Lord Balaram. You want to hear about Lord Balaram sleeping and dreaming about Krishna? Okay. Sleepiness and ecstatic love. Once Lord Balaram began to talk in his sleep as follows. O lotus-eyed Krishna, your childhood adventures are manifest simply according to your own will. Therefore, please immediately dispose of the stubborn pride of this Kaliya serpent. By saying this, Lord Balaram astonished the assembly of the Yadus and made them laugh for some time. Then, yawning so hard as to make ripples on his abdomen, Lord Balaram, the bearer of the plow, returned to his deep sleep. This is an instance of sleepiness and ecstatic love. Okay. Now here's a pastime where Lord Balaram asked to be Krishna for one day. You know this pastime? So, Lord Balaram is called Dauji, the elder brother who protects and cares for his younger brother. After lifting Govardhan Hill, Lord Krishna killed a succession of ferocious demons, including Saṅkarṣaṇa and Aristasura. Balaram hadn't killed a demon for a long time, so he's getting itchy, And he was concerned about his duty of protecting Krishna as his elder brother. Desiring to dress like Krishna, Lord Balaram once asked Krishna if he could wear his peacock feather and play Krishna's flute just for one day. Krishna, who dearly loved his elder brother, agreed and personally gave his peacock feather and flute to Balaram. Krishna and Balaram warmly embraced, and then Balaram, laughing happily, ran away playing gaily on Krishna's flute. Meanwhile, in Mathura, the wicked King Kamsa was about to send the horse demon Keshi to Vrindavan in order to kill Krishna. The Keshi demon asked King Kamsa, "How will I recognize Krishna?" Kamsa told him that it would be easy to tell because Krishna would be the only person wearing a peacock feather and playing a flute. Now you know where this is going, right? While Balaramji was fully enjoying his pastime of being Krishna for the day, the fierce horse demon Keshi stormed into Vrindavan. Seeing Balaram wearing a peacock feather in his crown and playing a flute, matching the description of King Kamsa that had given of Krishna, the Kesh demon roared up and gave Balaram a mighty kick that would have killed a full-grown elephant. This kick totally knocked the wind out of Balaram and sent him tumbling far away out of the demon's sight. Thinking that he had killed Krishna, the Keshi demon galloped away. Balaramji, picking himself up, began to cry. Balaram's chest still hurt from the demon's kick and he was short of breath. Balaram was hungry, very tired, and sore all over from tumbling so far. Reaching home, Balaram immediately went to Krishna and returned his flute and peacock feather. Balaram told Krishna that he never again wanted to wear them and that a huge horse demon had just violently kicked him, thinking he was Krishna. Then Balaramji met his mother Rohini and fell asleep in her arms. Krishna replaced the peacock feather in his crown, tucked the flute back in his belt, and walked into the village. Then Sri Krishna met the horrible horse demon and effortlessly killed him. Srila Prabhupada writes, Lord Balaram is the original Vishnu, therefore anyone remembering these pastimes of Lord Balaram in the morning and evening will certainly become a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus his life will become successful in all respects. And we'll read one more. It's explaining how if you want to enter into the Vrindavan pastimes, you have to go through Balaram, just like if you want to enter Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, you have to go through Lord Nityananda. If anyone wants to attain the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Krishna and be able to taste and fully relish their pastimes, one must first approach the lotus feet of Lord Balaram or Lord Nityananda. This is mandatory prerequisite, for only by receiving their mercy can this realization be possible. Because Lord Nityananda and Lord Balaram are non-different, the Goswamis confirm that by getting Lord Nityananda's mercy, one becomes eligible to receive the ecstatic prema of Sri Radha and Krishna in Braja. Lord Balaram and Lord Nityananda do not accept any offenses whatsoever and are so merciful that by simply worshipping Lord Nityananda, one is automatically worshipping and pleasing Balaram. It is described that Lord Nityananda and Lord Balaram are friends of the most fallen and wretched. Just as it is not possible to enter Lord Chaitanya's service without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, it is impossible to enter Brajarasa without the mercy of Lord Balaram, who is non-different from Lord Nityananda. So we can see that when Krishna comes to the material world in different incarnations, or sends his incarnations, he's making all kinds of plans to deliver the fallen souls. That's what it is. Whether he sends his devotees or he comes himself, and he comes with his entourage, and all of his entourage is engaged in the same activity of some or other delivering the fallen souls. And of course, the avatar in the Kali Yuga is the Nama Rupa, Krishna avatar. Was it Kali avatar? Nama Rupa Krishna, Krishna's name. So why is the name descended is actually to deliver all of us. So Krishna and his myriad forms and expansions. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Are you like Lord Balaram? You're falling asleep having dreams in class? Like that. Hare Krishna. Okay. So that's something to meditate. How kind Krishna is. He's coming himself, and the Lord Balaram's coming. The next verse is about Yogamaya, his sister, and Mahamaya, and all these different, so many devotees from all over, from the spiritual world directly coming, from the heavenly planets. So many devotees are all gathering together to enact these pastimes. Why? To bring so many conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. Just like devotees gather together, and together they cook a feast, together they go on Sankirtan, together they worship the deities. Whatever it is, all working together in concert for the deliverance of the conditioned souls. That's the purpose of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Prabhupada in one port says, it is an incarnation of Krishna. ISKCON is an incarnation of Krishna. Why is that? Because it's here for the deliverance of the fallen souls. So, very nice. So any questions or comments about Lord Balaram also coming along with Krishna? So I hope the little bit of nectar helped. Does anyone have anything? Otherwise...
Thank you for the class. It's a bit philosophical. I don't know if you would remember to say, but as far as Chaturvyuha and all the, Balaram, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, what's their position exactly?
Well, you have the Narayan forms in the spiritual world, and my understanding is actually there's a few sets of those before we get to Mahavishnu.
4 sets?
I don't know off the top of my head, but they're there. And Balaram is the source of all of those, and then whether it's a 3rd or 4th set, then you finally have Mahavishnu just showing, and this is also in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining the glories of Lord Nityananda, and how Lord Nityananda is Balaram, not an ordinary person. All this information is there so we do not make the horrendous mistake, fatal mistake of thinking that Krishna in his expansions and Shaktis and even his devotees are ordinary. That destroys everything. That destroys everything. So be very, very careful. So how exalted these personalities are. And here's one point is that acting like an ordinary boy in Vrindavan, a cowherd boy or cowherd boys, Krishna and Balaram and so on, is that greater than manifesting all of that opulence and power of expanding the material world and all the different, even the spiritual world, all of that Shakti? What's a greater manifestation of potency?
Intimate love.
Yes, intimate love. That is the highest thing. That's the highest manifestation. So they're thinking, they're just ordinary. No, they're not ordinary at all. And they don't have to. Those other things, that's just to capture the attention of those who can't appreciate the bhakti, the intimate love. Okay, yes, God's very, very great and powerful. I better watch out. Just like, who's afraid of the police? Criminals. Right? A God-fearing, a law-abiding citizen, they're friends. Just like, that's a postman, not a policeman. Anyway, so I just say the postman comes in here and Ramapati just stuffs him full of prasadam. But even if policemen were to come in, Ramapati would stuff him full of prasadam. It's like they're friends. We don't have a problem because we're law-abiding. So who needs to hear that God is very, 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 very powerful? You better watch out. So sinful people need to hear that. Of course, people in need who God's very, very powerful. Please help me. Please help me. You got all the money. Can you spare a little bit? Or something like that. But for those who want to serve the Lord and just that ecstatic prema, pure love, then Krishna's just playing. Balaram's just playing. That's the Vrindavan pastimes. This is what we're all going to hear about. He's manifesting Bhoma Vrindavan so we can all see what it's all about. The highest level of consciousness is actually forgetting that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God and just he's the most lovable person. So,
if I may,
you more than may, you can double may.
You were talking about. I think the question was, what is the different functions of Adi, Ruda, Pradyumna? So, Song of Shiva, singing the Song of Shiva, chapter 24 of the 4th canto, and in the 35th verse of that chapter, he's addressing the Lord. My Lord, you are the origin of the subtle material ingredients, the master of all integration as well as the master of all disintegration, predominating deity named Saṅkarṣaṇa. Integration, disintegration.
Das.
And the master of all intelligence, known as the predominating deity Pradyumna. My Lord, the next verse, as the supreme directing deity known as Adi Rudha, you are the master of the senses and the mind. So you've got, and Krishna himself is Vasudeva. He's
Yes.
Vasudeva. So that's one of understanding that they're in charge of different. And Saṅkarṣaṇa, I think, is involved with the ego, right?
Yes, and that's actually Lord Shiva's Ishtadev. He's always meditating on Saṅkarṣaṇa. Okay. One thing that came to my attention, someone who watches class in the morning, the term Big Brother comes from what book? Yeah.
1984.
Yes. You're being watched. You don't even know you're being watched? They're commenting about how they watch devotees fall asleep in class. I just think, you know you're being watched? Our congregation is watching us. So they asked say something about just encourage devotees not to fall asleep in class because they're watching devotees fall asleep. Not all of them, but it just thought you're on camera. So, gotta look good. If you got a problem, sit next to someone who has a bony elbow. And just kind of like nudge you or something like that. So, whatever we do in class, it's being seen. So, just in case you forgot. Like that.
Question from one of the watchers.
Yes, of course. Go ahead. Maitreya?
Thank you. Yes.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhu.
Thank you
Mr.
very much,
Prabhupada.
Thank you for a totally nectar class. Unexpected nectar about Lord Balaram there at the end. And my question was, you mentioned Lord Balaram, well, in the nectar of instruction, devotion, it mentions all the paraphernalia for worshiping Krishna, everything that he needs. It's all an expansion of Lord Balaram. And so if we're in the temple, we can't go on the altar, maybe we're not even initiated yet, but we're washing the floor or we're washing pots. Can we think of that as on the level of like bathing a deity of Lord Balaram?
Absolutely. In fact, I remember many, many decades ago one devotee was giving class and someone was leaning up against the wall and he said, "You're leaning up against Balaram. Sit up." You're leaning against Balaram. So you don't want to take service from the Lord like that. So, to lean up against someone? Yeah. Well, it depends on why you're leaning. If you're sound asleep, snoring in class, don't do it like that. But you know what I'm saying? You don't want to take service. Oh, let me just kind of press back here. You don't want to do that.
Of course,
Yeah.
I've been aware of that for many, many years. And those who know me, I see guests or something, and then they tend to line against the wall. And I come with one of our little new fat mats, and I say, would you, it's much more comfortable this way, and you won't be leaning against Balaram, so like that.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to, what was I thinking? There's a song about, that written by Jiva Goswami in his Gopal Champu. And there's many songs, and this particular song is based on the Venu Gita chapter, the text of chapter 21 there in 10th canto. So it's just 4 or 5 verses, and I'd like to just share the last one, which is all about Krishna and Balaram. I mean, Krishna. If you read that, they walk they're walking together, and the first couple of verses that they sing refer to Balaram and Krishna. And then it's explained by the acharyas because the gopis were afraid that their parents or their elders would hear them thinking only about Krishna and think that and suspect something. So they think about both. So the song also involves Krishna and Balaram. And you mentioned Ramanuja. Ramanuja is Lakshman, obviously, but it's also that's the first verse of the whole song. Ramo Ramanuja Hiti Yugalam. So Rama or Ramaha, that's Balaram. Rama Anuja, he was born after Bala, is also a name for Krishna. Ramanuja.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's this song. Now this is the last verse of the song, and I was just struck by the incredible beauty of the Sanskrit. I'll explain how it goes. So it goes like this. Sitam asitam vapadasitam pitam vasanam yashyati gitam taditam hiti gokardamanu gokardamayata tathagamatitam. So the gopi is singing, I'll explain. So sitam is light. His Balaram's complexion is light. And Krishna's is dark. So sitam asitam. So now you got the light and the dark one. And vapur, their bodies. Asitam pitam vasanam. But their garments are just the opposite. Balaram's is dark, asitam, and Krishna's is pitam, yellow, and they're glorified, splendid garments, which are Gita means they're glorious, in that way. And then this is the last line of the song. Taditam yadi gokardamanu gokardamayata tathagamatitam. That's so clever. If they herd the Gokulas, the groups of cows, the herds of cows, into Gokula, Gokulam and Gokulam, ayati tathagam, and then all of our sufferings will be relieved. The agamatita, that will become transcendental, the past. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because it's Krishna Balaram, you know.
One last thing, Maitreya, answering your question, you probably remember this. There's one lecture, Prabhupada was, I think, there at the Krishna Balaram temple. He was talking about Krishna Balaram, the marble, black and white. And the floor in the Krishna Balaram temple, or the tiles are black and white. He was saying if you're just washing the floor, it's the same as washing the deities. In other words, it's all service. So if one is just washing the floor in that temple room with love and devotion, it's the same as the pujaris on the altar worshiping Krishna and Balaram. So he gave that example.
3-second question, comment. So, you know, because I'm chanting japa here, and I'm aware of some people leaning against the wall. So that whole idea that, you know, everything, all the paraphernalia, the building, you know, and everything is all a manifestation of Balaram. But then I'm struck by how merciful he is, because after all, we got to walk on the floor. The floor is also his manifestation. But that's not an offense, because there's no other way of doing it.
Right.
So you can be fair how merciful he is until, you know, just like Krishna's so kind, he takes the role as the servant of Arjuna, you know, so Balaram is giving us a chance.
Well, you can become extreme if you want. Maitreya?
Prabhupada would say, Bhadagaran Maharaj used to always tell that story, Prabhupada saying, you may think you're sitting on the floor, but I'm sitting on Krishna.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you can become extreme like Ramanujacharya. When you go up the mountain there to take darshan of Balaji, he wouldn't walk. He'd go on his knees.
Wow.
So his feet didn't touch Seshagiri, because that hill is non different from Seshanag or Baladev.
Did he have some special Birkenstock?
Yeah, pads on his knees, and he'd go up the whole way.
Because I think Birkenstock makes
we'll open a little pad stall out front there. You can make some extra money, so devotees can just walk around on their knees in the temple room.
But this I'll end with this. I've heard that Bhadagaran Maharaj say about that, you know, but he would never say, I'm sitting on Krishna. He said, I'm sitting on the energy of Krishna. He would always add that in there because I'm sitting on Krishna. Oh my God, you know, the energy of Krishna.
Okay, so we can end here. All glories to Lord Balaram and Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.